Why? Why did we think this was a good idea? In this video, I am in a random barn in England to drive a car with no roof. The reason we are in the barn is because it's raining, which is going to make the test drive section particularly interesting. This may be the stupidest idea of all time. So what we have here is a 2002 Smart Crossblade. It is the one that has no windscreen, it has no roof. It was originally a concept in 2001 and people liked it so much they said, okay, we'll build some. And they built about 2,000 of them, remarkably. And people actually drive them, probably not in the rain in England. So mechanically it's just a standard Smart, although the engine is Brabus tuned to 70 brake horsepower. This actually came out before the Brabus Smarts, which then had a little more power instead. But otherwise it is pretty much just a Smart with slightly different bumpers. We've got these little cutout sections. This bit where you have that as your door. Marvellous. And if we come around the back, we have no rear window and we have a little boot. So technically, as my cameraman said earlier, it's the only Smart saloon. Under here you find the weather gear, which is for the driver and passenger. We may need some of that today, I think, and a t-shirt randomly. Nice. And under here is a cover that can be pulled out over the car. So if you park it in the rain, the interior doesn't get too wet. It has been modified, so it has got some waterproofness to the material. The heater vents are gone, because normally you would have pop-up heater vents here that can rotate around, but obviously they would fill up with water. So you've only got the vents underneath. Massive T-shelfery though. So Matt Furious driving will like that. We've got little tweeters here. And if we come down to the middle, a bit Saab-esque, which is where we find the ignition key, which I think locks it in neutral or reverse. I forget which one. And this is your semi-automatic gearbox control. Obviously, the bane of many a Smart's existence is the automated manual gearbox, 6-speed in these first generation models. Right then, let's have a look at the engine. This is made a little complicated because someone has bravely, in a car with no roof, fitted a massive amplifier. So we need to try and see if we can get this boot carpet out the way first. This is interesting. Oh, here we go. I think. Oh, I'm catching on the water cover. We're almost there, folks. There we go. I'll park that up there. And then we have this, which I think you have to unscrew from memory. And that also hits the amplifier. Great. Oh, there we go. We can lift it out and reveal the unique to the Smart 3-cylinder engine, 599cc, I believe, engineered by Mercedes-Benz. Because, of course, originally Smart was a new startup between Mercedes-Benz and Swatch watches. Although by the time production really got underway, in I think 1998, Swatch had rather tired of this idea of building cars and left it all to Mercedes-Benz in the end. But yeah, it's all packed in. We've got a little intercooler. It's got its own little fan to try and provide some sort of intercooling action. So no front mount here. Imagine what the pipework would be like. Radiators up the front, but the engine at the back with the gearbox slightly to the side. And these engines have a reputation for sort of failing at about 100,000 miles, but we're a long way from that with this, so we should be all right. Right now I've got to put all these covers back in. So I'm sitting aboard enjoying the slightly plasticky textured feel of the seats, but the stereo upgraded because it needs to be, because the wind noise I imagine is going to be quite high. If we have a peek under here, we've got a rubber mat, and then if we lift up this panel here, will it come out? Oh yes, it comes out entirely. Look at that. We've got a very big subwoofer and a towing eye, as well as the battery hidden under here. So don't spill your coffee, folks. There's also this little oddment tray that I've managed to lock in place now. There we go. For your oddments. And then if you wish to weather protect them, you can hide your oddments away as well. But yeah, I always liked these first generation Smarts. When they first came out, I had several visits to several different dealerships, even though I wasn't really in a financial position to buy one. I was just kind of obsessed with them. The styling and inside and out, the curve of the dashboard, the fact the passenger sits a bit further back, slightly offset. I just found it all so interesting. But the gearbox remained an issue for me. I can never get on with it. Not even when the sales girl said, oh, it changes gear quicker than you do. No. So, we shall get to the business of the wiper test. No, we won't. They haven't even got a stalk. Look, there's a blanking plug for the wiper stalk. That is truly depressing to me. And many of the heater controls are simply blanked off. We've got a heat control, so we can make it colder if we wish. No air conditioning. But yeah, we can't direct it anywhere because there's nowhere to direct it. A little switch down here for the fan speed and the hazard warning lights. That's a very quiet indicator sound. How am I going to hear that at speed? But otherwise, very, very minimal, as you might expect. This is a part of road testing I've never done before. And that's broken the thing. No, there we go. I'm going to have to try the waterproofs. I wonder if anyone has ever worn these. What have we got here? So, that's my waterproof jacket. That looks small. That's not going to suit a post-Christmas hub nut, I don't think. But it is proof. We don't know what of. And then we got some trousers as well. Right, I will spare you the sight of me getting dressed. Right then, unfortunately I've had to ditch my waterproof. It was too rustly and making too much noise. So here we go, driving the Smart Crossblade in wet England in March. Was it a good idea? Can hear the gear changes going through, slow as they are, but yeah, 30 miles an hour is not too bad. Check into this roundabout, should be quite, oh yeah, very checkable. It's national speed limit. So, here we go. Oh, she thinks about it. Whoa! Holy smokes! Ah! Oh, she doesn't hang about. With 70 brake horsepower, I'm ducking down to try and get out of the wind, and about 740 kilos of weight. By heck is she lively. So, not very pleasant, I'm going to say, but at least it has stopped raining for the moment. So the Smart Crossblade was a limited run in the year 2002. Robbie Williams, a huge fan, he bought one, but it seems he only did about 113 miles in it. I'm starting to understand why. He is an English singer, so yeah, this is not the car for this country. Cruising around Saint-Tropez, quite possibly, but oh dear. At least when you're getting the speed up and you're battling the wind, you're not really thinking about the gearbox so much. Pick a gear, there we go, there's a gear. You can press a button on the side of the gearbox and do manual selection. So I'm now in fourth for pullback. Eventually we're going to third. But there's no rev counter, so I don't know what the engine is doing at all. So we're going to have to stick with automatic mode for safety reasons, I think. There's no interior mirror at all, so we just got the external mirrors. The adjusters for which are underneath the bars. They're kind of hidden under here and hit the telescopic struts. So, not a very good bit of design, really. Gosh, what a ridiculous car. I think I have to conclude that I prefer my Smarts with windscreens and roofs. LDV Convoy. Oh, my cameraman did not pick up on it. Turn in. Oh, manual steering, plenty of feel. It's quite a nice engine noise, I just can't hear it at all. There we go, that's our 40. That is quite horrible. But the big problem with this car is that gearbox. If I put my foot down, nothing happens. And then suddenly, off she goes. It takes seconds for the gearbox to react and pick a gear. The second generation is a bit better, but here we come to the national speed limit. I'm going to go for 100 kilometers an hour. Think about it, think about it. Go. We can catch the Freelander. Oh, this is unpleasant. This is not nice. Why did I agree to this? This is ridiculous. And believe it or not, the man who is holding the camera at the moment drove this car here from the Netherlands. He's even more mad than I am. Well, that ruins the hair somewhat. There's a few things we haven't discussed. One is that there is a glove box underneath the driver's seat. So that is where you can secure stuff, and I believe, yeah, I can feel a lock, so you can actually lock that. And also, have a look at this dash binnacle. Some madman has done 60,000 kilometers in this vehicle. It comes from the Netherlands, so that explains a lot. But I also want to do this. Just because this is about the only time we've been able to hear that lovely little 3-cylinder engine. The one thing I haven't mentioned is the fact that this is number 450 of the 2000 they made. But we're discovering that if you stick to like the urban speed limits, it's actually quite pleasant. You've just got a nice breeze in the face. The mullet is not getting quite so buffeted, and you can actually hear that engine. It does sound good. It launches hard, surprisingly hard. I'm just going to pull a little U-ey here. The turning circle not quite as superb as you might expect for a little car like this, but I think the big fat front tyres, they are fatter than the standard Smart ones, may restrict the steering lock somewhat. So get up to speed and yeah, when she picks up surprisingly well. And I must admit, yes, the gearbox isn't the best, but the more I'm driving it, the more I'm learning to drive the car. I'm learning to anticipate what it's going to do. It isn't an automatic. Automatics kind of do all the thinking for you, but yeah, maybe it's not so flawed after all. Yeah, I think I'm enjoying it at slower speeds quite a lot more. Certainly, you can definitely say the Smart Crossblade is an experience. Gosh, yeah. What do you say about the Smart Crossblade? It's definitely exhilarating. My face may never feel the same again, and I feel my hair is ruined. I've got to go to a posh do after this. I may need structural help. But yeah, fantastic. That's been quite the experience. So huge thank you to Jim for letting me have this opportunity. And the number plates may give away where this car may be heading next. So I await the Aging Wheels test drive. But thank you for watching. I'm off for a lie down now. We'll see you in a future video. Bye. Look where we've decided to stop. X19 Scirocco MGS. Nice. Yeah, that does nothing. not very easy to see. Goggles would probably be a good idea. Right, sound check number 2. And we'll see if that's any better. Problem is, to make myself heard above the wind noise, I'm having to shout quite a lot. Maybe I was shouting too much before, and that's why we're having issues. I'm going to go for 100. Go for 100. There we are. 100 kilometers an hour, ducking down like a motorcyclist. There we go. Oh, fantastic. A roof.